Hello beloved, my name is Abeiku Okai and welcome to my channel. This is the Voice of Grace. Today we are going to study something I've entitled 7 Signs that he or she doesn't love you. Before we continue, I want you to subscribe to this channel and then hit the notification bell so that anytime you can get our videos once we load them. Now let's go into it. A lot of people do ask me, how do I know that my partner loves me? How do I know that I'm being loved in this relationship I am in? Therefore, I want to take this time to teach you the 7 important signs that you should give attention to discover whether you are being loved or not. Many times when I'm counseling people, I ask them, do you love your partner? And they would respond, yes, I do. Then I ask again, does your partner love you? And that is where the confusion sets in. So I want to give you 7 signs that you should look out for to determine whether the person you are in relationship with loves you or not. Let's go into it. Sign number 1. If he or she is self-centered, it means that you are not being loved. Love is something that kills selfishness. Any person who claims to love you but is selfish does not love you. Love is the only antidote that takes away self and then brings the object of love or the partner into focus. So if you are in a relationship and your partner is self-centered, when you are having conversation, it's all about himself or herself. Concerning the plan for the future, it's all about his plan or her plan. It's all about now people who are self-centered are always me, me, me. So their plans, their action and everything is concentrated on themselves. So if your partner thinks more about himself, in a conversation he or she talks more about self, and in the future plan is all about himself or herself, and you don't seem to find yourself or you in his plan, conversation, whatever it is, then you are not being loved. Sign number 2. If he or she stop doing the little things that makes you happy. The Bible says, remove the little forces. The little forces, they destroy the garden. Listen carefully. There are little forces that destroy the garden, but there are also little things that make the big difference in any relationship or marriage. So the relationship or marriage you are in, there are little things that you will notice would make the relationship blissful and will make you happy and joyful and will give you more confidence in the relationship. If he or she is not doing those things or refuses to do those things, it means that you are not being loved. For example, the little calls. If your partner is not able to call you or doesn't have time to call you, it is an example of the fact that you are not being loved. Giving is also another thing. When a person is in love, it is easy for the person to give. So if you have a partner who only thinks of receiving from you and not giving to you, then you are not being loved. He or she is taking advantage of you. Now let's look at the 3rd point. He or she is not proud of you. One sign of knowing that you are not being loved is when your partner is not proud of you. When a person is not proud of you, he finds it very difficult to introduce you to his friends, to his family, or to the immediate persons. Now, if he or she really loves you, there will be that urgency, that that feel and joy to introduce you to the people around him or her. So when your partner wants to hide you, is not ready to introduce you to the people around him or her, it is a sign that you are not being loved. You cannot be hated if you are loved indeed. Now let's go to point 4. He or she makes you completely confused about the future of the relationship. If you are not being loved, your partner makes you completely confused about the future of the relationship. I do ask a lot of people, will you marry him or will you marry her? And the answer is yes, I would want to. Then the next question is she ready to marry you? The answer is I don't know. How can you be in a relationship for 4 years, 5 years, even 3 years, and you don't know whether the partner wants to marry you or not? If somebody truly loves you, there will be that eagerness to want to marry you, all things being equal. Therefore, where there is confusion as to whether you people will marry or not, there is confusion about the future of the relationship, whether you will continue or you break up, then you are not being loved. Now let's go to the 5th one. He or she doesn't have enough time for you. Sometimes it might be that he has some time for you, but in situations where he or she doesn't have enough time for you, or is always giving excuses and reasons for not contacting you, not calling you, not checking up on you over a long period of time, it simply means that you are not being loved. If you call him, for example, and then for 1 week he doesn't call back, or in 3 days, 4 days he or she hasn't heard from you and is not bothered, that means that you are not being loved. If you are loved, there will be almost regular checkups. Even if it's not regular, there will be periodic checkups that will let you become confident. Now let's go to the 6th point. Number 6. He or she is not comfortable when you are around him or her, and your absence doesn't make any difference. When a person doesn't love you but is in relationship with you, he or she is not comfortable when you are around. Sometimes you appear where they are and they're sort of not happy. They would rather wish you were not there. Some might even question you, what are you doing here? Why have you come here? As if you are imposing yourself on them. So when you find out that your partner doesn't want you around him or her, it is a sign that you are not being loved. And then also, when you are not there, he or she doesn't care. It doesn't make any difference whether you are there or not there. And when you are not there, it looks as if your partner is happier. When you find this sign, it is a proof that you are not being loved. Then the last point that I'm going to talk about is constant petty quarrels, offenses, and fighting. Constant petty quarrels, offenses, and fighting. When you are not being loved, what happens is that your partner picks up quarrels so easily with you. Every moment, every minute, there is something to quarrel about. Some form of confusion, misunderstanding. Such relationships, they don't last. And the reason such relationships are filled with constant quarrels is because one person is not exhibiting love. So where you find out that everything you do ends up in offenses, then love is absent. The Bible says that love covers sins or many sins. So if your partner cannot tolerate your errors, always pointing you to your errors, making you feel useless, losing your self-image, and always the burden is upon you to solve the problem or to avoid conflict, it means you are not being loved. In my next video, I will teach you what to do when you find out you are not being loved. Now, you have to keep this in mind and then study your relationship, understand it, so that you know the best and right decision to take. My name is Abeiku Okai, and this is your voice of grace. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and you become a partner by always listening. God bless you so much. Bye-bye.